your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, we are in the very beginning stages of what's going to be an active next 48 to 72 hours. Winds are the big issue here tonight. We've got a 33-mile-per-hour wind gust in Champaign and in Springfield right now out of the south. That wind has helped to warm us up today. We made it to the 50s, but with that wind blowing as strong as it has been, it hasn't felt like those 50s at all. Now, major changes coming here as rain will begin. Already seeing some showers. Got some rain down near Effingham, down to portions of Coles County near Charleston and Mattoon, and we're expecting a lot more overnight into Friday and into the day on Saturday as well. Outside tonight, expecting the rain and the wind to really pick up here for us, especially rain later on tonight. We're going to talk about the latest on amounts of snow and ice also in the forecast coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
We've got to do an investigation. We've got to figure out what the real facts are.
There's a possible cover-up of a sexual assault in Champaign. So who is going to look into it?
Plus, 2 people are dead and 2 others seriously hurt. Who was in the car when it crashed on I-74?
And tensions continue to heat up half a world away. How many here locally want their voices heard?
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
The rain is falling. The wind has kicked up. This is in Mattoon with drops on the camera. Central Illinois is in for some wild weather the next couple days. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
That was perfect. I was right in the middle. And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. A strong storm system is expected to dump a month's worth of precip in a matter of days. Think about that. And that means the sump pump better be working. Our chief meteorologist, Kevin Leidy, is live in our tracking center. And Kevin, flood watches already been issued.
They are in effect here for pretty much everyone, and we're not leaving anyone out with this. So let's take a look at that flood watch that is in effect. All the counties there, they're highlighted in green. I mean, this flood watch actually goes from Michigan all the way back down into Missouri. And so basically what this means is we are expecting sustained heavy rainfall to occur over the next several days. And it really picks up tonight with several rounds through Saturday. Heaviest is going to occur Friday night. So tomorrow night is going to be the worst of it. That's when we can actually see thunderstorms, 3 to 4 inches of rain likely by Sunday. But then there's some ice and snow that could also develop for areas closer to I-55 in north and west. We're going to show you a map that maps how much rain, how much snow, how much ice, coming up here in a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. We have a follow-up now from the Capitol. Republican leaders are putting pressure on House Speaker Michael Madigan to investigate a possible rape cover-up.
Yeah, but today the Speaker said he wouldn't do it. Madigan says he wants other authorities to look into it. WCIA 3's Andy Olson is live in the control room tonight. So, Andy, it appears this rape happened in Champaign.
Yeah, Paul, that's what an email from a lobbyist said back in 2012. And that email was from Mike McLean. He's a confidant of Speaker Madigan, and he has been since the early 70s.
First of all, the subject of this email is horrific. You can't read this email and not see a lot of things wrong.
Since being uncovered this week, Illinois lawmakers have been trying to figure out what's next in the possible cover-up of a rape in Champaign. 8 years ago, Mike McLean sent an email to former Chief of Staff Jerry Sturmer and top aide Gary Hennig. It talked about the possible assault and a ghost payroll. McLean was trying to save the job of a state worker. House Republican leader Jim Durkin believes the General Assembly needs to get involved. State Senator Scott Bennett of Champaign wants to see it happen, but he's worried it may not be enough.
I would encourage them to do it. The problem with it is there's not much teeth behind a state legislature subpoena.
Bennett says he wants the state police to investigate and any relevant information handed over to the Champaign County State's Attorney. In the House, only one person can issue a subpoena. That's House Speaker Mike Madigan. In a letter, he dismissed any possibility of the administration committee convening to look into the matter, offering some temporary cover for his friend McLean. Part of his statement says, quote, any investigation should be handled by the appropriate investigative entities without interference from the General Assembly. Governor Pritzker says the state has referred the case to the Inspector General. He's waiting to see their findings before making judgments.
We have to, in order to get the answers, we've got to do an investigation. We've got to figure out what the real facts are.
Both Bennett and Pritzker are still hoping someone with information will come forward.
But to think that someone could actually say, let's give this person a break because they kept information away from the police or away from someone involving a rape, that's sickening.
Then Jim Durkin said in an email to other House Republicans this afternoon that he's disappointed but not surprised Madigan rejected their call for an investigation. Live from the control room, Andy Olson, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
I'm sure this discussion is far from over. Andy, thanks. Well, the FBI raided McLean's home in May. The speaker's close friend is at the center of the federal corruption investigation into unlawful lobbying practices. In other news, 3 people from the same family were in a crash on I-74 in Urbana. 2 of them died. Happened last night between Cunningham and Lincoln Avenues. There were 4 people in the car. 37-year-old Rodney Young died at the scene. 46-year-old Shauntez Young died at the hospital. 46-year-old Marzette Young was driving. They are related. Marzette Young and the 4th passenger were taken to the hospital. State police are still investigating that crash.
A man is in serious condition after a shooting today in Decatur. Happened this afternoon near North Water and East Olive Streets. The 20-year-old was taken to the hospital. They don't have any suspect information at this time. And we have an update from Sangamon County. The man police say fired a gun at White Oaks Mall pleaded not guilty today. William Harper of Decatur was arrested last month when police say he shot a gun in the mall's parking lot. He's charged with reckless discharge of a firearm, unlawful use of a weapon, aggravated assault, and criminal trespass to property. His bond remains at $250,000.
2 restaurants in St. Joe are cleaning up after they were broken into over the weekend. It happened at the Wheelhouse and China King. Both break-ins happened around the same time. Police wouldn't provide many details, but said they're possibly related. Wheelhouse was closed today because of the break-in. It'll reopen tomorrow at 11. The U of I is looking for a new chief of police. Craig Stone, who also serves as executive director of public safety, is returning to Columbus, Ohio, where he worked for 3 decades. Came to the U of I in June 2018. His last day will be January 15th.
More than 50 people were rallying in Urbana today. They wanted to speak out against a possible war with Iran. It took over the corners of Main Street and Vine. Organizers say there wasn't even supposed to be that many. The call just started with a simple post on Facebook yesterday. Momentum grew from there. The man who made the post says he didn't even know anybody or know everyone there.
If you have a demonstration that is only familiar faces, then okay, you've reached the people you already know. I was glad to see people whom I didn't know. One man drove here from Bloomington Normal in order to attend this rally.
Organizers say they expect to have more like this if tensions stay high with Iran.
Just when you thought the holidays were over, how turning on the colorful lights of a Christmas tree means hope for many in our area.
And also tonight.
It was a great moment. Just get over that hump, the roadkill.
It may not have been history, but man, last night sure felt pretty good. Why the Illini felt like they deserved that win in Madison.
Well, we look outside. That is the Roofing Dog at Casey Summers' camera in Mattoon. And we recap today where we had 25 this morning. We doubled that to 50, which is 17 degrees warmer than we should be for this time of the year. And believe it or not, we may be, well, more than 20 degrees warmer by tomorrow. We've got to talk about a lot of rain. We've got ice. We've got snow. We'll let you know when it all comes to an end coming up.